Hello, my beautiful sacred souls. I wanted to hop on and just, share about something that happened the other day. When I talk about my clients and the people that choose to work one-on-one with me, one of the things like in my terms is the confidentiality. That's super important. But I do share examples of things that have happened, so I don't mention names, but I will share kind of the brief overview of what we're experiencing and what we're going through, because it's very important for us to be open and share where we are in our journey, what we're experiencing. Through doing this, we make space, right? We're opening up space. We're allowing space for others to come in so that they can feel safe and comfortable connecting, right? Making those connections, reaching out, going through their own journey. Hi, Shannon. How are you? I love seeing your face hop on here. So it's super important, right, when we share, because we're making space for others to share. We're showing that not only have I realized that I'm not alone, but I want you to know that you're not alone, right? That's a big part of this journey that we're on. And I wanted to share about this pretty extraordinary experience that happened the other day with one of my clients, where we went ahead and went through the Witch's Wound integration. And it was very, very powerful. So this was a very powerful session that we had. And the part that's really extraordinary for me with the Witch's Wound integration, energetic healing that I do, is we go into a space called the Hall of Shadows. And in this space, we have our deepest traumas revealed. Okay, so it was very fascinating to learn that for this specific individual, her deepest trauma was her suppression of her gifts. And it was like, I literally just have chills right now. It was so fascinating to see this, and for us to both say, wow, okay, this is a pain that we feel in our body. This is a pain that we feel in our experience when we deny our gifts. This is why we are here. This is what we're doing. We're here to not only tap in and recognize where our trauma is, but we're also making space for us to address it and reintegrate that version of ourselves back into our body. So what is so important that we're doing with our Witch's Wound work is we identify our trauma, right? And then we work to heal it. We transcend it, we release it, we heal it so that we can reintegrate that part of ourself back into the whole. This is what happens when we go through this. I call it's like a soul break. We experience this trauma, okay? And then when we reincarnate, we keep that part of ourselves at a distance. We keep that part kind of segregated over. So here's what's happening. Here's kind of where we get it wrong in this thing, because we think, okay, this is going to keep me safe to do this, when in fact we're keeping ourselves traumatized by doing this, and we're keeping the oppression and suppression really kind of amplified, hey Autumn, through this whole process. So think about it. You experienced a massive trauma in a past life, right? A severe trauma that cost you your life, or massive extreme suffering and persecution. And what we do when we reincarnate is we take that version of ourselves and we kind of wrap her up and stick her away somewhere where we're like, stay away from me. You cause me pain, you cause me trouble, you cause me heartache, you get me persecuted. So we're taking a part of ourselves and we are shunning and denying her. And what happens with this is an integral part of our magic. This is a part where our magic lives. It resides within us. And we've taken her and we've wrapped her up and kind of stuffed her away, right? We're like, don't come near me. You are dangerous. the reality of this is that she was a victim. And so by doing this and by kind of shoving her away, we are also prolonging that persecution, and we are victim shaming. So we're going into a space where we're victim shaming our past version that experienced a massive trauma. And this is very traumatic for ourselves, for our own being in this time and space right now, because we are denying a very sacred, very powerful, very important part of ourself. And we're saying that this part is wrong, that there's something bad about it. So this is why it's so important for us to go in and do that work, right? We have to go in, we have to go back to that version of ourselves. We have to acknowledge her. We have to apologize. We have to help release her from that trauma space that she's living in. I go into this a little bit with an example in Mirror Soul, the second book in a series. It's, for those who have read it, Michael is actually finding himself in a situation where he is bound here and needs to be released. You'll understand it once you read it, and you'll see, oh wow, okay. But that's something that we do to ourselves. It's like we hold this version of ourselves and its identity by projecting the fear, the persecution, the trauma, all of that onto that version, when that version, they didn't do anything wrong. So for us to be like, oh, there's something bad about you, we're continuing the persecution. This is why we have to heal and recognize, so that we can re-assimilate that version back into ourselves, because this is where our magic is going to be. When we deny a part of ourselves, it's like every day we're living in trauma. We are traumatizing our identity. We're feeling that pain in our solar plexus and our chakra that represents our identity. We're hurting our heart. We're hurting our heart space. And it's through all of this that it's so important that we acknowledge and that we honor and that we accept and that we reintegrate and do this healing process. It's so fascinating to me just how extraordinarily transformative these experiences have been with my one-on-one clients when we've gone through this process together, and we're identifying this and we are reintegrating this version of ourselves back into the whole. It's been incredibly amazing to watch, like literally the transformation. I've decided that from now on, when I start working with a new client, I'm going to ask them to take a before picture, and then we'll take an after picture, because even just in a short amount of few weeks, I've seen such an extraordinary difference in the face of these clients. Their eyes are brighter. They don't feel like they need to wear as much makeup. They just feel fresher and more confident. And I mean, it also is so beautiful to receive the messages saying, you know, this is the first time I have hope. Hey, Shauna, this is the first time I feel connected to myself. And this is where I go, I guess, into like the second layer of my little rant today, is really the purpose of why we're doing all this. Really the foundation of the work that I have created with this is to really make disciples. Honestly. So I've said this before, and forgive me for those who have heard it, but I've said that it's not my goal to make repeat customers, right? It's my goal to create disciples. I'm not there to say, okay, put all your dependence on me to get all your messages, to get all your healing, to get all of this. I don't want that, to be honest. I don't want to be that for people. My role is to be an activator. My role is to lead people to that space where they can tap in, tune in, and access their sacred ancient knowledge themselves. This is what I've said a lot as well, is I used to follow a lot of spiritual teachers, and I really found, as I went through my own journey and started connecting and tuning into myself, how they were still very unhealed, and the energy that they were coming from was not one that I wanted to project and kind of aid others with. So I went inside, right? And I said, show me what I need to be doing. Teach me how I can teach. And this is what I want for everyone else, because our knowledge, it's so sacred, and we all have the ability to access this super powerful, like interdimensional sacred knowledge. We all have this ability, and my role is to help you on that path. We'll go through, we break down those barriers, we get there, and that's when you start connecting with your ascended masters, your guides. This was something that happened in that session the other day, and it was so amazing for this individual who felt so blocked, who felt so hopeless, who felt so frustrated. They'd worked with so many different people, and they just couldn't get this breakthrough. And I was able to show them and guide them into this space where they met not only one guide, but two. These guides spoke to them. They showed her what was going on, what she needed to do. And it was just incredible. It was so incredible for me to be able to be a part of that, and for her to be able to start tuning into that ability to go in and connect. Because here's the thing, I've said this before as well, we have to be, I don't want to be negative here. We have to use our discernment. There are some people out there who are not in a space where they should be tapping into our energy. They're also not in a space where they're truly connected. And when we depend on other people to receive knowledge for us and about us, like our past life memories, different things like that they're not always going to be accurate and true. And this is why I always encourage, you're going to find this yourself. This is why I take you through this process. This is why we go in. This is why in the workshop we have the past life regression from Shauna to take us in there so you see it yourself. Because for me to say, okay, this is what you experienced, if it doesn't resonate true in your body, we're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere if you haven't accessed this yourself. If you haven't tapped in, there's not going to be any healing that resides, because you're going to hear it like you're detached from it, right? It's someone else. It's not you. You haven't found this. You haven't connected with it. You haven't found this immersion of the energy. And this is why I take everyone through that process. You have to tap in. You have to connect. You have to see it. And I show you how to do that. I teach you how to do that so that you bring forth this information yourself. Now, do I need to be a surrogate sometimes and help? Yes, I do sometimes. But that's like, okay, here's where we are in our journey. We're going to keep working on this. We're going to keep working on how to tap in. We're going to keep doing that. That's why I'm here, is to help, right? But I'm not like some end all be all where it's like, okay, I found Nancy. Like, I don't need to do the work now. She'll just figure out everything for me. That's not how it's going to work. That's not how we're going to heal as a, it's funny, the term I got is as a collaborative. That's interesting. I was thinking collective, but I got collaborative. So we're not going to heal together like that. It takes us being able to go inward and access the information ourselves. We have to be able to do that. So when we go and we kind of seek out people to try to help and heal us or fix us or whatever, we're not going to get the results that we're seeking. We're just not. It's not going to happen. We have to learn how to tune in, tap in, and find it ourselves. So this is what we do here in this space. I'm very passionate about it. It's so important because I need more people out there doing this. I'm only one person. I can't do this for every single person. I can make as many resources as I can. I can make courses. I can put together things, but we have to be out there and doing the work to connect ourselves to source. Because as we are connected, we're literally connected into our own divinity. And we are bringing heaven here to this planet. When we stand in that sovereignty, when we stand in that power, when we fully inhabit this sacred self, we are creating a realm in which that energy lives. It's like we call it in, we say, I'm going to embody this, and our environment has to change. It has to adjust to our vibration. It has to adjust to this new version of ourself. So we have to be able to know how to call it in. We have to. So thank you for being here and doing that work. If you want to hop on a call with me, if you think it's time to get there, it's time to work on this, it's time to learn these skills, it's time to heal, it's time to move through this and to step into your highest self, I'll post the link. I don't know if any of my girls are on here if they want to post the link, but I'll post it if you want to hop on a call. It's no obligation, but we go through yes, Bridget, I know you're a high priestess. You are so sacred. But if you want to hop on a call and really start digging into this and learning, I'm so happy to do that for you. Thank you guys for hopping on and listening to me passionately rant about the sacred work that we're doing here on this planet. I will see you next time. Namaste.